Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Not My Identity. I'm 28 male, a somewhat popular YouTuber. My wife, 27 female, deleted my recordings because she has never seen me crying and I'm unemotional. Anne and I have been married for 9 months, and we've been together for 3 years. Our relationship has been pretty smooth, and I love her to bits. However, we have a big personality clash. We've lived with it in the past, but it's affected her more than it has affected me. I'm more of a keep it all in guy, and I prefer to deal with my issues by myself. She, on the other hand, talks about her issues with me, and we work through them together. I've always been a little cold, maybe steely is a better word. I'm not too emotional. Not that it's a good or bad thing, it's just the way I am. My wife and I were forced to put down our dog recently. He was my dog before we met, but he became a big part of our family. She loved the hell out of that dog, and I did too. When I lived abroad for a year, he kept her company and she was very close to him. So we came back from the vet and she was crying all the way. I was feeling really sad, but I wasn't really showing it. She asked why I wasn't feeling sad, and I told her I was. She started screaming at me for not having feelings, me being inhuman, me being cold, and for her being scared of me for that. I told her that I cannot force myself to cry and I was feeling terrible inside. We get home and she went off about how I'm barely human and I'm basically an automaton. She then went on and on about how she has never seen me cry. Not when we had broken up 1.5 years into our relationship, not when my mother died, not when I was leaving for a year to work abroad. I told her that crying doesn't solve anything and she should quit bothering me, and I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up and decided to edit some videos I wanted to upload. I work from home and I have one main computer to work from. It has 3 hard drives. The first one is my operating system drive. The other 2 have recordings on them. I wake up to find the other 2 completely wiped. I freak out and irrationally think that it might have been some software or something. I try and see what the cause was and I can't figure out anything. I had put in so much work recording these videos, so much effort had gone into them. I broke down. I had backed up only the recordings from 2 months ago. I'm sobbing hard and I just feel pathetic. I'd lost so much of my work and I couldn't figure out how. My wife then comes in and sees me. I tell her what happened. She tells me she did it. She wanted to see me cry and didn't know how else to make it happen. She is happy she got to see that some part of me is human. She tells me it was healthy for me to let my emotions out. I swear to God, that's the first time I have ever wanted to hit her. I would have strangled her. I packed up a few things, a laptop, phone, got in the car and told her that I'll call her when I'm ready. I'm staying with a buddy of mine right now and I need to figure this crap out. She was all apologetic and loving when I was leaving and was acting confused. I feel nothing but hatred towards her right now. But I need to be tactful in handling this situation right now. Help me figure it out? Oh wow, there is so much going on here, OP. First of all, I have to say that I somewhat agree with you regarding crying. I mean, I do understand crying when you're sad or grieving or something like that, but I find that crying out of frustration is more of a waste of energy that you could be using to find a solution.
But maybe that's because I'm a heartless robot that is really good at sounding human when I read Reddit stories.
Excuse me. But anyways, OP, let's get back to your problem. What your wife did was flat out wrong, and I would be just as pissed as you are. It doesn't matter if it was YouTube videos or a doctoral thesis. She deliberately deleted something that you worked on for a really long time just to see you cry. What the hell kind of an idiotic idea is that, honestly? Now, I don't know if in her state of grieving your dog she thought that this was a good thing to do or something, but if I was in your shoes, the first thing I'd do is try to cool down to have a proper conversation with her at the same time that I'd be trying to figure out if I can recover the data. Hopefully, she didn't format the hard drives and just deleted the data. Now, within that conversation, the most important thing would be for her to admit that what she did was absolutely out of line and she should be more than sorry and apologizing for what she did. And then you gotta figure out if you're still in it and want to continue in it. What about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, you confront her by saying, do you have any feelings about divorce? Go ahead, let them all out. It's healthy for you. It's not about videos, it's about the absolutely ridiculous worldview she has. If you fall down and break your leg, will she keep hitting you until you show the amount of pain she feels is right? I wouldn't trust her with my property, my feelings, or my future. And if I can't trust my spouse, there's no point to the marriage. And OP responds, I received a text. How are you feeling? I'm pissed. So I texted her, hey, do you have any feelings about divorce? Go ahead, let them all out. It's healthy for you. Her response was, baby, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Leo died and I guess it was just too hard on me. I love you so much and I know what I did was terrible. Please forgive me and come home. I miss you. Let's talk this through. Leo was our dog. Then another text. Please don't do anything rash. We just got married. Why divorce? We have our entire lives ahead of us. Please don't let one mistake of mine ruin that future. I love you. I'm sorry. Please come home, or at least tell me where you are. Queer Here says, there is no way she was doing this for your own good. She was mad. Here's what I think she was feeling. Misery loves company. She saw you being all stoic about your dead dog that she loved and it pissed her off. Your nonchalance was like disrespect to the dead. It also left her isolated and grieving by herself. I think she wanted to punish you for not being sad. Not just for hiding your sadness, but for not being appropriately sad enough. And if you love your precious videos more than your loyal dog, you deserve to cry then, don't you? I think she made a bad decision to punish you when her emotions were running high with grief. Then she tried to cover it up with a cold-hearted justification. Her weird justification makes what she did seem even worse than it was. Apples says, I can't believe all the people telling you to get a divorce. Yes, what she did was awful. There's no denying that. I would be furious too. But this is an isolated incident where she was hurt and grieving and lashed out. She was definitely wrong, and I'm not saying you should just forgive her and let it go right away, but if your marriage vows mean anything to you, you should be thinking couples counseling, not divorce. Seriously, marriage means practically nothing to most Redditors, probably because very few of them are happily married adults. You don't just jump ship when someone makes a mistake. If you truly love each other and you meant what you said when you made that commitment to each other, you at least try to work through it. This wasn't an affair or abuse. It was a horrible, terrible, but ultimately forgivable mistake. Additional information from OP's comments. Right now, before I even think of saving my marriage, I want to know how to go about confronting her about this. I'm going to take a few days to cool off because I'm mad to the point of physical violence right now. That's why I immediately left as soon as she told me. I'm not kidding here. This is something terrible that's happened and it came out of the blue. I didn't expect her to do something crazy as this. Honestly, the crying was warranted from a lot of the stuff that had happened. Putting my dog down, the huge fight I had with my wife last night, my sister's health getting even worse. The dam burst, I guess. She has never done anything like this or been emotionally abusive. We have had a great relationship. If anything, I think I might have hurt her more by not sharing my emotions with her. Now, the thing about me not crying over my mother dying, she was abusive to my siblings and my father. I had basically cut contact with her. Also, as I said, it wasn't just the video thing that caused me to break down. It was that along with my sister's health getting worse and having to put down my dog. It's getting pretty late here, so I'm going to sleep. I'm not texting her back. I'm not in a position to make rational decisions. I'll see what to do tomorrow. Thanks everyone for your suggestions. Okay, well we got some really good and varied input from the community, and OP had explained a bit more stuff. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. A lot has happened. I'm not going to cover all the events of the past few days, but here's the most important stuff. Also, the comments I'd made in the previous post, well, I was pissed, really angry and also drunk. I thought about matters the next day and then took action. On data, I had a friend hook me up to a local store that specializes in this. Proper recovery is expensive, but they said that since no data is rewritten, it's possible. Waiting to hear from them tomorrow. On divorce, I decided that I'm not going to ask for a divorce. What happened was bad, but not divorce worthy. I want to give this a chance. Regarding my wife, I went back to her. She was crying. It looked like she had been for a long time. I went in and she hugged me and cried even more, apologizing profusely. When she got a little more stable, we talked. She started by saying that she understood how badly she effed up. She said that I am well warranted to ask for a divorce. However, she said that she will never pull crap like this again and that she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life in regret. She begged me for one last chance. Having a wonderful relationship before this, I decided that I wanted to give her another chance. I asked her to explain why she did what she did. She said that first, Leo's death really got to her. Second, she confessed that she always felt like the weaker one in the relationship. She felt completely alone when she cried. I made a mental note to comfort her better when she's a little emotional. But she said that she understood right now, and she said that she felt terrible engaging in such power play, and that she understood that we're just different people. She told me she really regretted her actions and wanted one chance to make it up to me. Thanks for your help and suggestions. OP's note, I can't believe I forgot to put this in. Marriage counseling. We're getting an appointment to get through this issue. And to those keyboard psychologists that diagnosed me, you don't know what I went through coming to the decision to put my dog down. Everybody has emotions, they just express them differently. I cannot explain why I cried the next day, but it wasn't just because of the YouTube videos. It was a buildup of many things. Also, you don't know what goes into creating content. Whatever it is, I worked hard on it. Really hard. 2 months of work just vanish. You simply don't effing understand that even making videos is hard work. Just think about what you're saying before making comments like that. Alright OP, I'm gonna count this as a happy update. She apologized, she understood that what she did was absolutely wrong, and you guys are gonna give it another go. Good for you. So all that there's left to say is, all the best in the future OP, and take care. And thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user PocketLobster88. Am I the a-hole for going off on my wife after she made a sex sign to keep my mom from knocking on our bedroom door? So, I've been married to my wife for 4 years. We have a medium-sized apartment. For the last 2 months, my mother has been staying off and on in our guest room. My dad recently passed away, and it's hard for her to live in their house alone, so I've been letting her stay with us. My wife and my mom have never particularly got along, but I expected her to understand why it's important to me that she overlooked this just for a little while. I mean, she lost her husband of 40 years, she's fragile, and I really want to be able to do what I can to make her feel better. My mom's presence has changed our routine a little bit, mainly our nighttime routine. She'll usually come to knock on our door to talk. My wife hates this, particularly because it interrupts our intimacy. Usually when she's over, we just don't make love. So this past week I noticed my mom wasn't coming in at night. So we had normal nighttime habits. Yesterday, mom pulled me aside and told me that the sign I let my wife put on the door at night was disgusting and not something she ever needed to know. She also said that she was very hurt that I don't want to speak to her since I'm all she has left now. I told her I had no idea what she was talking about. She said the sign was about sex. I still had no idea and talked to my wife about it when she got home. She admitted it. She said that she made a sign to keep my mom out of our hair at night. On the sign was written, "Please do not disturb us unless you want to see me effing your son." She thought it was funny and necessary, but I was mad about it. I took the sign, crumpled it up and tossed it in the garbage. I then went off on my wife about how inappropriate and embarrassing this was. She told me it was my fault that we needed this and it was just a joke. I slept on the couch last night and she's still pissed at me. Am I the a-hole? Yes, OP, you are the a-hole. But not just because you went off on your wife about putting that sign, which, by the way, kudos to your wife for standing up for your intimacy. I think you're letting your feelings of feeling sorry for your mom allow her to intrude in your marriage. This might sound harsh and unemotional, but if it's hard for her to live in the house that she spent 40 years in with her husband, well then sell the house and buy an apartment. That's what both of my grandmas did, and it's actually the plan that my wife has once I'm no longer here. Also, having any other moment to actually talk to you about whatever she wants to talk to you, why does it have to be at night? And I'm sorry, but that phrase about her just feeling like she's losing you when you're all she's got left sounds a lot like manipulation to me. Overall, OP, yes, you are the a-hole and a doofus. And what do you guys think about this? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Confused Help Me 22 says, "You're the a-hole. There's 24 hours in a day and your mom can only seem to talk to you when it's bedtime? I understand wanting to support your mother, but she's going to be codependent on you if you keep allowing her to stomp on boundaries. She's already started to plant seeds of manipulation of, 'You're all I have left,' making you feel guilty. My grandma lost my grandpa after 50 years of marriage. She moved houses and developed her own routine so she could grow as an individual. She said change and not be dependent on others is what keeps her going. She misses my grandpa dearly, but is happy where she is in life. Your mother needs to start finding herself again, in ways that don't involve you." Mile High Philly Girl says, "You're the a-hole. When my dad died, my mom lost her partner of 33 years. Do you know what she didn't do? Move in with me and my now ex-husband. And when she visited, she would never knock on a closed bedroom door to talk at night because that is exactly how you walk in on your adult child effing. This sounds like deliberate penis blocking on your mom's part because she is lonely. Your relationship is enmeshed, and she is parentifying you to get her emotional needs met. And you can't say no for some reason. Either take your wife's side and set some effing boundaries with your mother, or enjoy sleeping on the couch and lawyer up for the inevitable divorce." Swigs313 says, "Everybody sucks here. The sign may have been too much, but so is you allowing your mom to ruin your private time and come to your bedroom at night to talk. I feel for your mother, I do, but you have your own life and she needs to respect that. I'm not saying she's trying to replace your dad with you, but she's trying to fill those new and strange voids in her life with your company, even at inappropriate moments, and when you don't respond, she's guilting you for it. That's not healthy for anyone. When you retire for the night, that should be a boundary she respects. You need to set up other times to talk or keep the conversations to other parts of the house. But once you go to bed, she needs to respect that and your marriage. The sign may have been over the line in its verbiage, but it's nothing that isn't true. What a married couple does on their time in their bed is no one's business." Alright, well, I agree with most of the community judgments, so how about we move on to the update to see if OP listened or not. Some people asked about our ages. I'm 26 and my wife is 25. We have no kids and are waiting until we save up some more money before we start trying for one. So, I took a lot of the nicer comments here to heart and took action. First, I sat down with my mother and tried to get to the root of the issue. She told me that she's been doing this as she's just been so lonely and she wants to feel connected to the only flesh and blood she has left. This made me really feel for her, so I went to my wife to apologize and try to negotiate something. My wife, however, told me that she doesn't want my mom living here anymore. I tried to see if she could let her just stay one more weekend, but she rejected my compromise. My wife and I sat my mother down and told her that we felt like we needed more privacy from her, so we asked her to leave for the time being. This set my mom off. She started crying and accusing my wife of trying to, her words, break us up. I felt bad, like awful. I tried just talking to her and I wanted to get to the root of why she felt like she needed to be here. She said that now I'm her only flesh and blood alive, and if my wife keeps me wrapped around her finger with sex, I'll forget all about her, so she was trying to interrupt that. She also was worried that if I get my wife pregnant, I'll be too busy with her to see her again, and I'll be stuck with my wife when I could do so much better. This made my wife very upset, and I told my mom that I think she needed to leave then. The crying turned into full-on bawling and yelling at my wife. Eventually, I was able to get her out. I told her that I don't think it's best that we speak until she gets over her issues with my wife. Now looking at this, I feel awful. I had a presence who actively wanted my wife gone and didn't want us to be intimate or have a couple's time. And to top it off, I argued with my wife when she wanted to remove said presence. As I said, I won't be contacting my mother until she apologizes, and I accept it. and I don't think she'll be staying over anytime in the near future. I will also be spoiling my wife rotten until I can make this up to her. Well, it sounds to me like OP got to the root of the issue like he wanted to. His mom is a just no. Also, that only flesh and blood left comment really creeped me out. I mean, if the dad died and now OP is the only flesh and blood that she has left, then there's a whole lot of questions that I really don't want to ask. So I'm just going to hope that what she meant was family and not really flesh and blood. Anyway, good for you, OP, for seeing the light. Thanks for sharing and take care. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.